What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and we're doing another viewer run again. So this is from William, and they are showing me their first time doing Belly of the Beast, which is an endgame mission. So if you don't want to see some endgame stuff, endgame stuff, and you don't want to get spoiled, I understand. We'll see you in the next one. But if you don't care, then stick around. So before we do the video stuff, gotta plug everything, I guess. So if you enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe. The normal YouTube stuff, check out the box below for all the social media links that are pretty cool for you, and I don't feel like spending more time than that plugging my stuff. So this is like I said, the first time in an endgame mission. So we're trying to beat the game. It looks like we're on Darkest, and I want to see how this goes. This mission is the third Darkest Dungeon mission, and so this mission is much different once you know how it works, and then it's very long. It can be pretty long if you don't know how it works. So the first time is pretty brutal. So we're gonna see what happens. Who are we taking? Flagellant PD, very good combo, and then we have Jestal. So we have some interesting combo. Or like we basically have like two shells. So we have the Flagellant Plague Doctor shell, which is very powerful, and then we have the Jestal shell, which is pretty strong too. So let's look at these characters. So we have no Trinket yet, but Evasive, pretty good. It's not locked in. Doesn't really need to be hot to draw it locked in on Vestal. I'm down. That really helps you stick stuns on like more evasive enemies on rank 3, so that's pretty nice. We have Fairweather for some boosted damage. And someone in stream today said this. They said that Fairweather is probably one of the best things for Vestal, and it makes a lot of sense because Judgment heals Vestal when you use it, so you can always just keep putting out damage with her and keep her HP topped off. That's pretty cool. Then Unerring also boosts the two skills here. Also have all our quirks purged. I usually don't advise this for newer players, just because it's very time consuming and financially consuming to try and purge everything that is on the characters. You usually don't need to, as long as there's nothing super detrimental. Like, even as bad as Curious is, Curious doesn't work in the final levels because there's no Curio for it to touch. So, like, even that's not too bad. Same with Klepto. But Photomania and Steady and Prismatic Calm. This is a Jester with minus 60 stress. I don't know if he needs that much. I probably would have freed up Prismatic Calm for someone else, just because Jester can heal his own stress. You probably want something like Prismatic Calm on like Man-at-Arms. I don't know, that'd be my pick. But Precise Striker really gonna help our damage. We don't have Tune locked in yet. We also have Harvest. Harvest is okay in this dungeon. It's not good against the boss, but the player doesn't know that, so they have everything leveled up, so they might be able to switch. So very nice. And then Beast Slayer, very good in this dungeon. Everything is Beast type, I think, except for maybe the White Cell Stocks. Entrance up. Turn up, I think. Whoop. So Daredevil, pretty cool on PD because she can get beat up pretty easily. Manslayer, I probably wouldn't have locked this. And then Steady, really good. These are probably all locked before we got Steady, so that makes sense. But the reason I wouldn't lock Manslayer with PD is because she can usually find some accuracy pretty easily through a Blasphemous Vial. And this, like, I'd rather take Natural Swing personally, or Eldritch Slayer, or even Beast Slayer before Manslayer. So we have Frontline PD, so we have Noxious and Incision, so that's going to be a lot of front-loaded damage. We have Disorienting, because that's the only thing we can do as a stun from the front. We have Battlefield Medicine, because really there's nothing else to press besides Vapors, and Vapors are kind of garbage. So, depending on, because we have Dirk Stab here, so I'm thinking we're going to have this, so when Jester Dirk Stabs past PD, then we have something to do afterwards, which is not bad. Also have canon names, Paracelsus, that's Plague Doctor's canon name. This is not Flagellant's canon name, this is pretty standard. Oh man, look at this man. Wow, I've never seen this. Oh my god, who needs Flesh Heart when you're just bleed immune? I've never done this. I don't know if I would do this, as cool as it is, because there are times where you kind of want to bleed Flagellant. It's like 1 out of 50 times, but I like having the optionality of just taking the Trinket off and then I get to do it. By locking all this in, you're stuck. But if you're going to spam Reclaim, this is like one of the coolest ways to do it. So I'm down. Mercurial does not matter for Flagellant, he can't purchase. So this dude looks pretty awesome. Precise Striker also really good for Flash because everything he does is melee for damage. And crits are much better than direct damage for him. Are we not putting on trinkets? Hold up, please? Please, trinkets. Decent camp skills. Okay. We could use Shard of Glass here, because we have so much bleed resist that Shard of Glass actually gets pretty good. And no enemies bleed us here, I believe. So we could run the Crimson Court set. Wouldn't be that bad. We have Jester to fix our accuracy. And then Chip Tooth helps against Banish and Displace. These look like backer trinkets, which I don't know much about. I've gotten a lot of comments recently of people asking me to check out backer trinkets and heroes, but I just don't. I don't have them. I don't really have an interest in it, so I apologize. I forgot to talk about this too, since we're looking at trinkets. The lighting, I don't have my actual, you know, like, normal performance lighting on, just because, like, I recorded that starter guide for Black Reliquary, and like it got dark while I was recording that video, so it kind of like messed up my light, like my lighting, and gave me more light exposure. And then also I started getting a headache, so I think with the longer streams that I've been doing and then having the light on and stuff like that, it's been pretty painful. So I'm turning it off for a video. I hope y'all don't mind. I don't think anyone will. Everyone's been pretty cool. But surgical gloves and what did I say? Shard of Glass? Or what I see with Shard of Glass? Yeah, very good. Very good stuff there. Gonna run the double melee. Let me see this. That's good. What's the subject 40 notes? I've never actually seen the PD set ran together like this. For like this build. I think the subject 40 notes, they're HP, right? Yeah. It's HP and like disease resist, so they're not high. But that is still quite a bit. What is that, like 25% HP? Maybe a little more, like 30? I don't know, I have to double check. My math is bad right now. I think it's 25. Okay, very good on rank 4 Vessel. But what I like is no healing trinket. We don't even have Hippo. So that's interesting. Nothing. Only one thing stuns in here, and we don't have to fight it. But we also don't know the map. But I kind of like this. We have Incision Plague Doctor with the CC set, which I don't use. I've used it a couple times, but I don't like it because it lacks accuracy. And that's something Plague Doctor does kind of want. So she's always stuck with Blasphemous Vial and Bloodier because they just give her so many upsides and stats plus accuracy. That's what makes them so good. So having Jester to fix accuracy problems might make this pretty nice. I wonder how weak this is. This says first time Belly of the Beast, but this file is pretty stacked on trinkets. This feels like weak 200 or 300 territory. Suncloak. Suncloak's okay. Don't need Dark Tambo. Honestly, you could just run like Camo Cloak or a Feather Crystal or something. And you can run Barristons too if you don't want to take damage. Surgical. Okay, we're going a mix of offense and defense. I feel like Suncloak is something I have to revisit. So there's a discussion in Discord, like last week, where one of the people said that Suncloak was bad, or like not good, and Nick, who's a very talented player, he, okay, I agree with Wilbur's Flag. I like that. But, so we're at about 55 dodge once the cloak activates, I believe, which is good. So for this run, you don't need bandages unless you're trying to... Let's skip ahead here. Yeah. Unless you're trying to not die to reclaim. Probably don't need all that food. But this player doesn't know what's happening. Can't use battlefield medicine, so that makes... Yeah. Okay, so the player is under the impression of it being like the first two Darkest Dungeon missions where bleed was very damaging and all over the place. So the game, it's kind of nice to you at the end because it gives you some helpful things, like there's no nighttime ambush, there's what you call it, like, in this mission, for instance, even though you can get teleported around, they give you 4 camps. Like, they could have gave you 1 and said good luck. You know, like, that would have been very hard if they gave you 1 camp for your first time. Maybe 2. But they gave you 4, which does kind of bog down your inventory, but at the same time, it's 4 camps. You can fix a lot of problems in 4 camps. But what I was saying about Suncloak is that I feel like it's something I have to revisit because someone in there said that it was bad because that was my opinion of it. And I do, like, I appreciate that people take my word on things, but I'm also not perfect. So, it's, where are our torches? Did we just realize? If only they knew we can get rid of bandages. And probably 1 stack of food. Oh, the anti-venom. The anti-venom is so important here. But that's what this does to you. You have to overthink it. But anyway, like, Suncloak is something I probably have to revisit. Because it's 10 dodge. 10 dodge is pretty solid. And then you get 5 prot in case you get hit. And the reason I feel like I need to... Like, the reason I don't think highly of Suncloak, on the one hand, is because in High Torch, you can get away with more offense because the damage just isn't there for the enemies. Like, you can still die, but it's not as devastating. Meanwhile, Mooncloak is like S tier for Torchless because the enemy gets so much boosted damage and dodge that being able to defend against that is pretty necessary.
A maddening aperture to realms beyond human understanding.
Spent a lot of time in town. 6 minutes. You selling for content? Is this one of my streams? Yeah, this place looks unsettling at first. Because you go from torn up, underground, gothic-looking dungeon to literal intestines. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of the Spelunky level. Like the first Spelunky when you're in the jungle. You can go in the big worms or whatever. It's been a while since I played Spelunky. This team should do fine. I usually recommend having Flagellant and PD for this mission. Like, those 2 alone do a lot of work. But, like, every time I do this mission lately, I like to run Flagellants, Hellion, Plague Doctor, and Vestal. It kind of feels like overkill on healing to have Vestal and Flagellants together, but the Mammoth Cyst, if it decides to just, you know, cleave digestion and crit you, it starts to do damage, like, very quickly. So Vestal's massive healing output is pretty much warranted at that point. So these flesh dogs, these flesh dogs aren't actually new. So you can see they have fetch on the bar, like the skill bar. That's because the player fought these in the second Darkest Dungeon mission. The one constant between the 3 Darkest Dungeon missions is that for the most part, the enemy mashes, like the enemy groups, the threats are usually in the front, and it isn't that common that they have full parties, it feels like. Like, there are a lot of 3 unit groups that happen. Like how it blocks itself with its little arm. It's always one of my favorites. I mean, there are plenty of 4 unit enemy comps, but, like, even then, the threats are always in the front, for the most part. Like, Cultist Priest in the front. Cultist Brawler hits for a lot of damage. And has that 6-point bleed and stuff. Do we not have music? Doesn't sound like it. We don't. Oh, it's unfortunate. The battle music in the final levels is pretty good. But this may be a consideration for the YouTuber, where people think that I'm still getting tagged by copyrights on Darkest Dungeon music, which hasn't happened for a while, thankfully, but it is annoying. Is that low HP? No, I think we have to get to 16. I think it's 16 when he has 38 for the 40% breakpoint. Yeah, that back one's dead, the front one's also dead, so we can stall a little bit. Definitely throw out that Reclaim, yeah. Like, actually we have minus 50 bleed resist, or like 55, so it's gonna be pretty common with the Shard of Glass.
Destroy them all.
Like, considering... Maybe not, actually. I was gonna say, considering this team comp, we probably could have ran bleed amulet, but then I forgot the blight is pretty common in here, so we don't want to open ourselves up to blight. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I don't really like having PD and or this setup for PD where she's up in 2. Like, I'm sure she's gonna do fine, but it doesn't help Flagellant. Like, the really nice part of their synergy is they both lock down or like decimate backlines for enemy comps because for Cyst. Because you have double stun, then you have Rain of Sorrows, then you have Plague Grenade, and with enough trinkets you can get your double tap the torch. I was wondering what happened there too. But yeah, so you can what is it? You can stun, double dot, stuff like that, and then PD's fast enough that if Flagellant bleeds himself, she can usually get him before he takes damage. In about half the cases, just because their speeds start out the same. But most Plague Doctor builds end up getting a couple points of speed, so it's pretty consistent for her. And having PD in rank 2 kind of takes that away, which is scary. So what you want to do for this fight, and it's pretty mean of them that this happens. Okay, the Self Stock is Beast too. But what's pretty mean about this is that, like, there are some times where they spawn ads, and then you kill the ad and they just summon it back or revive it or something like that, and it just feels like it's not worth doing. This is one of those fights, but you have to keep killing the ad over and over. So every time you do this battle, you're doing... Let's see, what is it? I think the Self Stock has 25 at the soul? Yeah. So we have 25 and then, what, 158? So that's 183 plus prot. So you have to do about like 250, about 250 damage on this fight. And then on Blood Moon you have to do a bit more, probably like 300. So having to do that much damage while controlling everything, this is actually pretty tough. You know, a lot of people think that it's easy once they know it and stuff, and you know, if you bring a good team, you're gonna run it over. But like your first time, because these dungeons are meant to be really tough the first time you play them. You know, everything gets better with experience. So when you play these the first time, it requires a lot from you. You have to be able to deal with stress, high damage, the teleport mechanic, and the way that they can keep recovering and reviving each other. So the Cyst can revive the Cell Stock, and they can both heal the Cyst if they need to. So you have to do a lot of damage. And taking it slow is usually not advised, but it also has so much HP that you kind of have to take it slow. So the weakness of Harvest. Are we set up for Dirkstab? Set up for Finale? Gosh, that water's good. I think we have the perfect temp water. So I have a filtered pitcher, and I filled it up about an hour and a half ago. So it got a little bit of chill. I'm gonna drink some more of that, dude. It's really good. Oh, big drinks. 8-point blight. Whoa. Yeah, that's the double click. That's panic inducing for sure. So I don't know if we're gonna run. Okay, they're sticking on the Cell Stock. That's good. But I don't know if we're gonna Noxious in that case. I can't remember what its blight resist is. I think it's pretty high.
But never hidden.
Cash that out a bit too early, but it's got the Sang damage, yeah. May as well finish it off. So the other thing too, since you know some of you may be new to this dungeon, you're just spoiling yourselves. The Cell Stock teleports you. That's the hard part of the fight. Is you think you can stall on it because it's by itself. But what it does is the longer... Oh, it's gone. That crit is very helpful. Yeah, so the longer the Cell Stock is alive, the more likely it is to teleport you. I forget how fast it ramps up, but it's like, it can't teleport you on turn 1. It has a small chance on turn 2, then a pretty good chance on 3, and then by like turn 4 or 5 or whatever, it should port you. It can still port you on 2 pretty constantly, but that's one of the things. And we didn't see it in this encounter. So, considering how long the video is, there's a good chance we're gonna get teleported. So again, we saw the polyps in the last dungeon. They were with one of the bosses. The dogs, I guess that's kind of Red Hook's way of showing you what's coming up, is you fight one fight with the Templars, and they have the 2 flesh dogs in the front, and then you fight the other Templar that has the 2 polyps in the back. So it gives you just a preview of things, and I kind of like that. So once you see them here, you're like, okay, I fought these. You know, it's not too scary. They look frightening. It's not the end of the world. Harvest's gonna get pretty good here. I don't know how it just shows you its brain and that's like poison juice. I don't know. I don't understand brains, so if there are any brain doctors out there, I guess educate us on why that happens. Why is there poison juice in our brains? Are those the electrolytes? Alright. Incision. God, I feel so tired. It's been a busy couple days. I'm very glad I'm taking tomorrow off. I'm probably gonna sleep. Honestly, like, I want to do some stuff, like record and edit and clean up. Like, my room's a mess. But, I'm gonna look forward to sleeping. So I'm sorry if I don't have the normal energy that I probably would for this, but I mean, still entertaining. Because we're going places without ballad, which is nice. There's not a lot of stress damage outside of these Cyst fights, so you don't really need... Forgot about that, sorry. My computer speakers are like going out or something. I don't know if it's like my computer, the port for the speakers themselves that's messed up, because this computer's starting to have some wear and tear, which... I mean, I guess it makes sense. I've been using my computer for like 12 to 14 hours a day for the last like 2 years. And a lot of it has been intensive video work, but also online schooling, so... I'm sure, as good as this thing is, it's been holding up. It's now finally starting to have issues. That's interesting. We walked to a teleport room. You see what I'm saying? There's like no backline in a lot of these comps. There's only a couple fights that aren't the boss, I believe, that have backline stuff. That's kind of interesting. This team can handle being moved. What's up, Loki? Okay. Probably gonna use the bathroom while I'm recording something, you disrespectful cat. Just because I cleaned the litter box doesn't mean you have to use the litter box. Usually not in here this early. Yeah, he's gonna go poop, I think. I feel like I should pause it. Can be disrespectful here in the cat. So if he starts tearing up the litter box, I'll pause the video for a sec. He's scratching. Alright, yeah. I'm gonna pause for a sec. Stun! Alright, we're back. Cool.
May we find victory.
May we find victory. We probably should have double checked to see if we were gonna guarantee kill that first one. Okay, that's fine. But, oh, it's not dead. Stab something. Okay. Yeah, spreading out damage kind of doesn't feel good. Vestal goes first. Stun. Nice. That's it. Very cool. Even without her speed boost for me in the back. Stats on some of these monsters are unreal too. Like just 9 speed, 29 dodge. Like the stats just go so high at the end of the game. It kind of feels like... It gives me like a feeling that I had in my Pathfinder game that I was playing. We finished it, I think, like 2019. Then we started another one after that, but the one we finished in 2019, when we got to the final like dungeon and stuff, it just felt like our stats weren't high enough for a lot of the stuff we were dealing with, and it felt like we really had to play well to succeed. And I guess that's what you want, but I kind of get the same feeling here in DD. Like the stat expectations of you are pretty hard to meet unless you're really familiar with how the game works and the best way to get, you know, quirks and money so you can lock in your quirks and stuff. So it's like, you know, the enemies have 9 speed. Do they expect you to have 11, right, to keep up with it? They have 73 stun resist. Do they expect you to have stun trinkets on everyone? I don't know. It just asks a lot of questions that you have to answer. So for this map, I think we had to go down. We'll find another one of these. The player handled this pretty well the first time. So we'll see if they handle it well the second time. But everyone that like I have seen do this, when they beat the first Cyst and you know they don't get teleported, like okay I got this, and they try and slow play the next one, and then they get ported. So we'll see if that happens here. I'll drink this delicious water again. We run out of water while I'm recording. Feels bad. Went to the dentist this morning too, so I got my teeth clean. Everything feels great. I love the dentist clean feeling. Yeah, so damage over time is really good here just because the boss has a decent amount of prot. So 25 is pretty solid. I think you can get more from Revivify or whatever, Reconstitute. I think the white cell stock gives prot. I believe. Might be wrong. So it can get a lot of prot, it can heal and stuff like that. So damage over time does a bit better because this thing has 2 actions. Bulging gaze. That gaze do be bulging. Alright, this is Xang range. Yeah, so it'd be nice to have PD in rank 2, or rank 3. So she could, you know, tap him and cure that bleed. Like, that's why Jester feels so weird in this place, because like, I understand he'd be a pretty good comfort pick, especially after the second mission. He's pretty good in the second Darkest Dungeon, and the fourth one. And the first one. This is probably his worst. This is definitely his worst one, not even probably. But he just doesn't have a lot to do, because he can't hit rank 4. I guess you could Slice Off or Dirk Stab spam the front thing, but that's not great. Slice Off spam is okay, I guess. But like, imagine if Jester was someone else right now, you know? Probably feel a bit more streamlined. Teleported. See, turn 2. I was gonna say, did we get teleported to the room we cleared? What's funny though is the teleportation is like, sometimes it's advantageous because there's like 2 or 3 rooms that if you get teleported to, you can actually just walk to the boss at the end and not have to fight anything except like an extra Cyst and then the regular battles. I think one of the Templars, so it's nice to get that, but the player may not know. Well, the player probably doesn't know for sure where to go. Doesn't seem like they have a map, otherwise they would have went down at that one point where it would have been good. But that's why I was saying this isn't too difficult of a mission. It's just long and it can be annoying. The only time the teleportation is like mega dangerous is if the Cyst hits you something like a cleave crit digestion or something like that, and then you get ported right after, and you get thrown into this fight with, you know, a person on death's door. That's when this gets pretty scary. But if you're not in that specific situation, it's usually okay. Guided by pain, favored by light. I like the Noxious just to lower its accuracy. Bit of a sound skip there. Hey, look at that. Dodge. Jester essentially had 70 dodge there. Is that just dead? It is dead. Alright, let's reclaim this Plague Doctor. Probably group heal. I would group heal just because PD wasn't gonna get, you know, fully topped off from that. No! But then that happened, so my play would have been wrong in that situation.
At least promises success.
And face the party. I think this is one of the good teleport rooms. I have to see it again, but this looks like it's pretty close to where you want to be. And you can walk up from the bottom. I don't think there's a Cyst. So the player may just look onto it, but also it's kind of difficult to determine what's happening in this level, especially because we're not like zooming out to look at the map. The map can kind of tell you what's happening. Like the first Darkest Dungeon mission, it just goes straight to the right. And I think by the time you get to the second wheel or whatever in the middle, where it's got, you know, up or down, and then you go, and then it's like right only, and then you pick another one that makes a corner, and then it goes right again. And then when you do these seconds, are we swapping mid-dungeon? Are we doing the high-level strats? I think we put on Redeem, didn't we? Interesting. I think up is the beacon. It's either up or it's one over. I can't remember. I always get turned around here. Cyst? No. Unless it's the beacon. I think there would have been a Templar. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's to the right. It is to the right. I just don't know where it's at. But we get to fight our first antibody. Pretty sure the dogs have mark synergy. But the antibody's stun, which is pretty annoying. Yeah, it looks like it's to the right. It might even be to the right and then down. I think that's what it is. I forget exactly where. There's really not much to critique here. Like, the team is solid. The team can get it done. And... oh, we're checking to see. Good. Good. Let's say we're checking to see if that's a white cell stock or not. It's not. It's an antibody. It just looks similar. I think it looks almost the exact same, except, like, the antibody's more pink. Bleh. Stun. Wilbur's flag coming in clutch.
A brilliant confluence
Critical
of
buffs.
skill and purpose.
Harvest? Harvest gets pretty good.
The blood quickens.
Stunning him up front. Nice. Okay. I think it can move back with violent hack or whatever. Yeah, I would probably swap to getting that thing down. Just because, as nice as Rain of Stars would have been right there for the value, because you know you're hitting two things for moderate damage. The enemy that can stun is probably the most dangerous on the board, just because stunning is what gets people killed. You know, like people. When people talk about, I don't know. I can't think of like a hypothetical offhand, but one of the, like, usually people aren't dying because Vestal doesn't have like a healing trinket, for instance. People die because Vestal like gets stunned or skips her turn because she's afflicted. So missing actions is what gets people killed. Having to move gets people killed. It's rarely just raw HP damage that kills people. So being able to stop something that stuns you from stunning you is pretty good. As much as I advocate for focus firing, we are killing 3 enemies on 1 turn. So we're on pace to end the fight by turn 4, right? This is what I was talking about before. If you're playing well, the fight is usually wrapped up by turn 4. So we're going into turn 4. The fight's over. So it's like, do we want to stall at this point? Oh, we put on 2. Nice. Took off finale. Punish, yeah. Kind of missing redeem, or not redeem, reclaim. I'm gonna stall. Okay. Good recognition to use Divine Comfort, just because that,
Blurred vision.
like, you know, healing 2 people already does more healing than Divine Grace, and then healing 3 people is just way better. It's just like 50% more effectiveness. Probably single heal. No, I wouldn't kill. Yeah. Single heal has better crit chance, and then we get to redeem too. We could hold that redeem. That's one of the finer points of playing Flagellant, is sometimes it's okay to leave the battle at half HP, or like 40%. Just walk out of it, end the fight, go to the next fight, hit that fat exsanguinate on turn 1. Should be a Cyst in this hallway. Yeah. I don't have the map memorized, but like there's a Cyst every other hallway or so, it feels like, especially in the ones that bend, like to the side. I think it happens like 2 or 3 times. Actually, they all bend, don't they? But something I wanted to talk about was map recognition. So like I said, in the first Darkest Dungeon, you can tell that you have to go right. you know, the game just points you that direction, and at some point you go, okay, I just go right. The second Darkest Dungeon has 3 paths when you start in the mission, and then wherever you go, you find the goal on that side, and then you go, okay, I'm at a dead end, I found the one goal, I have to do this 3 times, so I probably have to take each one of these paths. That dog bark was at such an opportune time that I can't even do a jump cut and repeat what I was saying, but yeah, and so for this map, you know, it starts you in the top left corner, and then it kind of clearly wants to keep you out of the center, especially if you get teleported once or twice, you kind of figure it out. It just kind of guides you towards the center and then tries to push you away from it at the same time. So I remember watching Wooly stream this, I think, when did he do this? Was it, I think it was Friday? It might have been Monday. And, you know, he figured out the same thing. Like, it's fun watching people piece this game together. And that was something that, like, he had that realization. He's like, okay, the game's trying to keep me out of the middle, so it must be in the middle. And that's what's happening in this one. So the player may have figured it out at this point. I'm not sure, but they're not, like, zooming out and looking at the map. So for these endgame missions, you know, if you're a new player, I would definitely recommend looking at the map and just playing with it to see what happens, because it's one of the fun things to do, but also it's like one of the few times you get to do it in this game. Reconstitute. I don't know if it always does reconstitute. Okay, so does prot. But I'm wondering if you could just lock it into just doing that over and over. Nice, have fun with your 40-point blight. Very fun and fair, by the way. I don't know, they had to give the enemy something threatening at the end. I like the courage to go for a stun and realize that Flagellant's gonna be okay. I like that a lot. Exsanguinate is pretty good here, yeah. Oh my goodness, rewarded. Good. Like, Flagellant's one of the characters that, it's not really playing greedy, it's just understanding that sometimes he's safe. And I think that's one of the hardest parts of that character. Is just understanding when to use the low health stuff and understanding when he's safe. Because sometimes, like, you look at what turns are up, you look at what his speed is, he might have like 14 speed or something. That's way faster than anything in the game can get to. Except maybe like Pinkfish. But, you have that situation. So it's like, if I'm already fast, I'm not on death's door, so getting hit doesn't get me killed, I'm not afflicted, then why not go for it, you know? Why not wait just a bit longer? This is going to work out pretty nicely, because we're going to top off Jester. The boss can't teleport this turn.
A momentary abatement.
There's actually consideration to zap. Okay, it went first. So, let's say there's a consideration to zap just because the... What is it? The cell stock could probably heal it, but I don't remember if it would have healed it out of range for we don't have finale. It would have healed it out of range of dying. So we definitely have to kill this thing. Zap it. Zap it. Zap it. Stun it. No. I think we're gonna be fine, but it's still kind of scary. Alright, nice. Because Flagellant's not that much faster than that thing.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
We shall, Ancestor. It must be down, right? I'm pretty sure it's down from here. We're gonna go right. Okay, good. We're looking at the map. Good. Nice. Rewarded. Rewarded for thinking. It was one of the best feelings in this game, man. Like, the player doesn't notice it yet. They don't know what's coming, but just when you puzzle something out, it feels so good. We haven't had to camp, by the way. No. Keep the shard of glass on. Wait, do we go back to Reclaim? Are we that... we shouldn't be afraid of it. It's alright, though. 46 dodge, by the way. Although Vestal has Prophet's Eye, so she's pretty close to... Oh, she's hit capped. Wow. Nice. Stun. The other thing, too, that's funny is... Like, you fight these enemies before, and then you see it again, you're probably like, oh god, you know, I'm about to fight something that is pretty tough and dangerous, but it's only got one action, and then it's up front. So this one isn't as dangerous up front, because it doesn't get Doomsday. And, like, they even give you an extra helpful thing to look at. Because, like, normally when you fight these, they have, like, the full headdress or whatever. And then this one, not only does it have one action, it doesn't have the full headdress. So it looks beat up. Or whatever. So you just know it's weaker. I think that's pretty cool. I think that kind of stuff is really good design. It's like, it's telling you that it's weaker by not, before it hits you. Like, before it hits you, you can kind of figure out that this may not be what you fought before. I think it's great. I think that's really good design. Because again, it's another thing that, like, if you're paying attention, you're going to figure it out. And then that makes you feel pretty good. Not disorienting. Say Incision might have been better just for the extra damage, but lowering the accuracy wasn't bad, even though it didn't work out. Lowering accuracy isn't too much of a... It's never something bad to go for. Or rarely, as I should say. Alright, stun. That thing's dead. We have Reclaim. Can have our unbleedable flagellants going off. You can tell this player's much more comfortable with unbleedable flagellants than they are the shorter glass route they're going. So 7 damage, we gotta find 8 more. Probably stick another Reclaim. I mean, yeah, we already did it, so may as well. Nah. Okay, that was kind of greedy. We'll see if it matters. It probably won't. Yeah, we're good. 12. Stun. Go whatever has the higher crit rate is what we should go for, because that'll give us more more chance to heal some stress.
The greater the glory.
Man, they're about to be rewarded too for that that recognition. I like that they're swapping skills. That's really good. Most new players don't do this. So even though the estate looks like it's pretty far along, so they have a bit of experience, I think. But being able to still recognize when to swap skills, that's something that even like people who played a lot don't do. Right at the end. We didn't even camp, dude. This team did fine. That's crazy. Like, it had Plague Doctor and Flagellant, so it was like destined to do okay. Yeah, they figured out that this is in fact the end. It sounds so weird. Like, not having the music is weird. And then that thing not making a sound by missing with the no music feels very strange. Stewing. No. Okay. So are we gonna get some crit digestion cleaves on the way out? Did the other Cyst take it kind of easy? I can't remember. I remember like a few bulging gazes, but when I did this on Torchless, I thought I was gonna straight up die, because I think the first Cyst just hit me with like a crit digestion on turn 1. I was like, oh, that's cool. I was pretty worried. Incision. Not hit capped. Okay, we got the crit, but not hit capped. The Bloody Herb would have been very nice for that specific situation. He already has stun resist. Yeah, we stunned it already, so that wasn't gonna stick. We should have zapped it. Or healed. We could have healed PD. Just because with how hard this thing hits with the 8-point bleed, it feels like PD is literally a crit from Dust Door. 17 damage. Let's summon its friend. One thing you can do with Flagellant, if you're in this situation where there's a lot of damage over time, or like there's a threatening damage over time effect, is you can give someone Reclaim, because Reclaim will tick first. So it'll take the heal, and then they take the damage after. It's not at the same time. It looks like it, because the game rolls both of them together, but if someone's at Death's Door with Reclaim on them and bleed, they will not die from it. They will take the reclaim tick first, and then go right back down to Death's Door if it's, you know, more or the same. So having reclaim, you know, if we didn't have anti-venom, for instance, would have been a way out of that situation with Vestal getting hit as hard as she did. Minus damage, really. That's interesting. I never noticed that debuff. So it gives you minus damage, which makes this really harder, or much harder to finish off. I think we Dirk Stab. Yeah. Was it like turn 4? Yeah. Finale's got a decent charge. Okay, Vestal, she stunned it once, but hasn't stunned it since then. Pretty greedy to leave the stock up right now. Because it's nice to get a little bit of damage on the stock in case someone misses. Or you get your damage lowered. Resist. Okay, it's fine. We just crit. It should have teleport on deck, so we should find some damage. Yeah, Harvest is fine. Dirk Stab's also good. We're gonna use Finale next turn for sure. For sure, we should use Finale next turn. Like, it'll probably Revivify and then Summon. We could have stunned it with PD, if she has bonus stun chance. Then it would have gotten just the one summon instead of like the summon and the extra attack here. Oh, JK, it died.
Perhaps the turning.
Let me Finale this dude and it's over. Wow, that was a lot too. Alright, nice job. And that's like, how do we do this?
Brought low and driven into the mud.
Even with getting teleported, this team still did it without camping until the end. It didn't even have to camp. Because when you leave this dungeon, whenever you beat a Darkest Dungeon mission, everyone gets healed to full. For as well as they played, I don't think they used a guide or anything. Because they hit Sanctuary, which you can't get ambushed in here. So, like, one of the first things you'll see if you look for a guide is that you can't get ambushed. So, that's pretty good. Really good job, William. Reading the barks. Do we camp 4 times? If we camp 4 times, I'm out of here. Yeah, the camping for dominance assertion. Everyone's full. Everyone has camp buffs. Look at that. Even the recognition to pop the holy water to avoid disease in the end screen. Amazing. So weird with that music. It's almost unsettling. Yep, you got no loot, you just got all your stuff back. Faded over Steady, really bad. Unyielding over Beast Slayer, also kind of bad. Oh well. But really cool, well done. Pretty sure you probably beat the game after this because the last mission's a bit easier. So, thanks for watching. That is the viewer run for this one. As I've been saying, submissions are closed unless you're a new player and you really just want help. Like, to the point where you want to send something, then I'll take that. But if you're trying to do like some flex stuff, definitely closed for now. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Join Discord. Check out the box below for all the stuff that we talked about. And no video previews yet. I'll see you later.